Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and sorry it's been such a long time since I gave you an update, but I felt I needed to do this video. It's all about the VJ Sport new line of shoes, which they've taken up to a whole new level. Now, you all know I'm a massive fan of VJ. I have been for the last 3 or 4 years. The reason for this is they're one of the good guys in an industry that seems to be more interested in making money with new releases rather than coming up with good innovation that's going to help us runners out on the trails. VJ go against that grain. Every update they've ever brought out to a shoe or a new release has been with a purpose. Today we're going to be talking about the VJ Ultra 3, specifically a review on that shoe. However, I also want to talk about 2 other shoes in their lineup that will cover you not just for ultras, but for marathons, half marathons, fell races, short 10Ks, even mountain races. These are all the shoes that I now wear exclusively, and they all feature the SuperFOAMance, which is the new innovation that I think is going to create a big stir in the running market. Before we deep dive into the review, a little bit of information on VJ for those who maybe don't know the company. They're from Finland and they started out in the orienteering market. They're known for having the best grip on the planet, that's their motto, and it isn't a load of bull. This butyl rubber that's on the bottom of their shoes is hands down the best grip I've ever experienced. It's brilliant on wet rock, and nothing seems to rival it, which is why I love the shoes. Now, my history with the company started about 4 years ago. I got to meet Tony, who runs VJ in the UK. We meet up probably once or twice every year and we talk about the new shoes that they're looking at for the following season, and he gives me an idea of why the company's going in the direction they are, what enhancements they've made and why. And every single time without fail, I always get the feeling VJ are making decisions for the runner and to make their shoes better. Not just to make profit and not just to put something new out into the market. Now, sometimes I think this has maybe held the company back a little bit. They've maybe avoided going for something blingy and shiny that might sell better in favour of performance. The other thing that's maybe held VJ back a little bit as well is their midsole. While they've got fantastic grip, really good lockdown, the midsole hasn't been too responsive in the past. That's why I'm making today's video, because that has changed with a new line of shoes, which you are going to see and we're going to talk about. Now, for today's review, we're going to break away from tradition and we're going to begin with the midsole. Let me start by talking about the Ultra 2. We need to understand where they came from and why they've gone where they have with that midsole. This is an infused midsole, not the most responsive. It's got a full length rock plate, so you do get a bit of give back from that, but it wasn't the most cushioned Ultra out there. And once you kind of got past the marathon mark, I did feel like it was a little bit dead at times. They've addressed this by adding their SuperFOAMance to the entire new range, but especially for the Ultra 3. This is a 30mm at the forefoot, 38mm in the heel for an 8mm drop. I was a bit concerned about that initially because I prefer a 6mm drop, but what I actually found with this rocker system and the fact that the SuperFOAMance midsole specifically is probably the most responsive part of the shoe, it acts almost like a spring. So it kind of goes below that 8mm drop and propels you forward. Really does feel like it's infused in the middle of the foot for some real great give back. I truly believe this is probably the best midsole for an Ultra that I have ever tried, and I've tried a lot, trust me. The Hoka One Speed Goat was wonderful, it's like running on a cloud, but the edges of the midsole for me were too cushioned, not very stable, led to a lot of pronation and twisting, which I didn't like. Salomon with the Ultra Glide, they tried a one-fits-all shoe for Ultras, and I just found that a little bit dead and unresponsive. Finding that mix between cushion, responsiveness and stability is so hard to find when you get to the deeper stack height. I think VJ have nailed it with this shoe. Moving on to the outer, we've got that butyl rubber, sticky grip, best grip on the planet, and it holds up with the new Ultra 3 as it does with all of the range. You've got some bi-directional lugs there. I'm not sure what the depth is of them, probably about 3 or 4mm. Not massively deep, but in all honesty, I've had no issues in mud and it performs so well on wet rock. VJ's outsole always lasts the distance as well. I would just try and stay away from concrete and artificial surfaces. That does tend to wear down the butyl rubber, but it will do with any outsole. Looking at the width of the shoe, it's on a 4 out of 5 on the width scale with VJ. It is one of the wider shoes. I think they've nailed the width of this as well. I found it extremely comfortable, really good lockdown in the heel. You can't see it, but in there it is actually quite sticky. It's like a felt type material, and that seems to stick to the heel. It's actually quite hard to get on in the first place, which is a good sign because it doesn't slip off. And of course we've got their fit lock system, which is on almost all of the VJ shoes. That grabs the two laces in the middle of the foot and really locks it into your arch, the perfect lockdown. The lace length is perfect. I have had some issue with the VJ shoes before because I like to double loop my laces and do a double knot as well. And in terms of lockdown with the tongue of the shoe, I was a bit worried it might be a little bit thin. As you can see there, no issues whatsoever with rubbing on the bridge of my foot, and it helps keep it really lightweight. Talking of lightweight, it's a very breathable material throughout, so I have no issues with sweating and discomfort. And I think it comes in at about 265 grams in a size 8, so considering how thick and deep the shoe is, they're doing extremely well to keep the weight down. You've got a nice little toe bumper all the way across the front of the shoe, as well on the very front part there. So again, great protection and some good protection around the heel as well. In terms of fit, this comes in true to size. I wear UK 8.5 in most of my running shoes. No different with the VJ Ultra 3. I know the VJ Ultra 2, some people found it came up a bit short in the length. Not the case with the 3. And what I would use this shoe for, clearly ultra races is what it's marketed for, and that's about bang on. I think it's a fantastic daily trainer as well. The fact that it's got great grip, it's very responsive, and it's also very stable. You can probably use it in almost any circumstance really, but I wouldn't use it probably on the half marathons and below, purely because I like to pick up the pace, and when I get on technical terrain, I prefer not to have as much of a stack height. So, in summary, very responsive, very well cushioned, extremely comfortable, fantastic lockdown, wonderful grip, and it fits true to size. So a really great update to the Ultra 2. Now, moving on, I want to cover two other shoes quickly. We're done with the Ultra 3 now, so those who are interested in that, you can sign off if you want, but I think you might be interested in these other two. The Max 2 is an update on the VJ Max. Exactly the same sort of updates. They've gone with that SuperFOAMance on the midsole, the Nitro infused midsole. This one is basically a lesser stack height. I've been wearing it for all my shorter races, so anything from 10k up to marathon. Very responsive, really well cushioned, lots of give back. I've got 180 miles in these shoes, and you can see that really that midsole hasn't squashed down much at all. The grip is still there. As you can see, it's held up extremely well. It's got the fit lock system. Yet again, it's got that kind of felt inner there, which gives you a fantastic lockdown. I love this shoe. It's really, really good. So if you get the Ultra 3 and you want something to go a little bit faster in, this one is ideal. There's also the Lightspeed, which I don't have on me to talk about. That's for the really fast runners. If you want a carbon plate, something that's not quite as wide, give a little bit more of a lockdown so you can get quick on those technical runs. And a lot of very quick runners have been winning a lot of races in the new VJ Lightspeed, which is basically their carbon shoe alternative to others that are on the market. And then finally, the one I have been using a lot is the iRock Plus. I love this shoe. This is the one that doesn't have the new midsole in, but it doesn't need it. It's more for your fell races if you want to have a wider fit. So for those who've used the iRock in fell races, you'll know it's a fantastic shoe in terms of grip because of that butyl rubber. I love that shoe. This one's just a wider version of it basically. Slightly different grip pattern, but I've used this all season in the fell races and it has been superb. Right guys, that about sums it up for today's video. If you've got any questions at all, jump down in the comments. I'm happy to answer them, whether it's on sizing or my thoughts on any of the VJ range. I've tried almost all of it now. And take care and happy running. Cheers guys.